Hello, everybody. Michelle Morgan here with Keller Williams Referred Realty. And today I have the pleasure of having Tony Sanidi with us here from Tony Mortgages and Jackie Porter here today from Cart Wealth Financial and Management. So thank you both for coming. Again, we have a few questions that we've gotten from our clients, and we thought, again, what a best way to address them than to do this. So this one is for Jackie. Questions are, what's the best practice for saving money during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, I think saving money now, the key thing is really identify what your expenses are. I think there's three things. I call it like the IDD, which is identify, delay, and defer, right? And so identify what your expenses are now, and most people know what their fixed expenses are, but the fixed expenses have likely changed. If you're working from home, you might have to watch and pay attention to what you're spending on hydro, water, and estimate maybe a 30%, like if we're looking at 3 months, right? We're home more, add 30% to that. But then some of your other expenses are going to go down. So this is a really good time to identify all your expenses, revisit them, and figure out, what am I spending on food? If you're home, you're probably eating more. I keep hearing from people who kept telling me they're resembling the bags of chips they're eating because they're going to their cupboards that many more times.
That's so true.
True.
So I'm thankful that my office is it's actually beside my bedroom. So it's a longer trip to my fridge and slash cupboards. But you might be spending more on groceries, but then your chances are you're not eating out. You might not be spending as much money on gas. So truthfully, this is a good time to just go through every expense in detail. And then what I mean by delay and defer is, are there expenses that you can specifically delay now that that you don't necessarily have to spend money on yet? So maybe you get your property taxes, you have to pay that twice a year or quarterly. Can you delay that? If you just want to keep the money in your hand and wait until you have a little bit more of a handle on what your overall income is going to be, if you have some income challenges, or you're self-employed, or you don't necessarily feel confident about your job security, income security, you just want to have the money on hand, because cash is king, right? Money in the bank account means you've got a little bit more financial flexibility than money that you don't have in your hand anymore that you have to try and find again.
Yeah.
So, and then the third is defer. So there's a lot of programs out there with the bank. So if you have a mortgage, you can actually get your mortgage payments deferred up to 6 months. It's going to be added to your mortgage, and you have to pay more interest on those mortgage payments. But again, having cash in hand and knowing that you've set up that financial flexibility with the bank to organize, they approve you of that, it just means you have a little bit more of a time, because time is money, right? So the more time you have that you can live with the income you have coming in, the better. The less time, it means you have less options. So you're just really, to save now means, and then look at ways you can reduce your expenses as much as possible too. So lots of people, maybe they plan to do travel, they're not traveling, right? So that's all money that should be going back into your savings account. That should help you. Okay, if I have a budget, this is what's coming in based on what income I have, I can rely on now. I don't have these expenses anymore. It should give you an idea of what you could potentially save. And what you really want to build right now is as big a cushion as you can to deal with the financial uncertainty that we're looking at. No one knows for sure how long this particular scenario we're in is going to last. Might be another couple months, but even after we flatten the curve, what's that going to look like for people? Are we going to go back to working business as usual? I would likely guess that it's not going to be business as usual. And if you're a business owner, your business might still be running on life support for a while. Or if you work for a business owner, what does that mean in terms of income insecurity? You know what I mean? So just having money where you can grab it easily is really important.
Mm-hmm. No, it's so true. And I think you really touched on what we've been asked again, which is what happens when you do find job loss during this time. financially, now you find yourself in a bit more of a rut. But again, I guess, if you were planning a trip or if you were planning on doing other things, now is that time to really not spend the way we once
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And some of it you're forced, right? Because nobody is going on vacations. All those things have been really canceled for now.
Yeah.
So if you had a trip that you paid for, that the airlines would have likely refunded your money. So that's cash put back into your cash flow that you can earmark. But what you really need to do when I say identify is understand what your lifestyle is going to cost you. And based on what you have in the bank and you have coming, that you have as savings, you can predict, okay, if it costs me $5,000 a month to live and I have $20,000 in the bank, that gives me 4 months of my lifestyle. How much more can I extend that if I delay some of my expenses or defer some of my expenses? How long will that give me? And you're just trying to make your run rate as long as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually really good advice. You do have to really literally go in and go, what do I spend every month? What do I earn? And then take it from there on how long you can factor out your living expenses.
Yeah.
And you're also saving on gas. Look at the amount of money we're saving on gas right
That's
now.
my point.
Every time I get in the car to go to the grocery store, because that's all I get in the car to do, the tank is full.
Yeah.
The gas stations, it's so cheap, but I
It's so
can't
true.
spend any more gas money on it. It's so
Well,
funny.
you know what? There's places you can call. So going back to delay or defer, my insurance company contacted me in the last couple of weeks to say, my insurance is coming up for renewal. What I had guesstimated I was going to actually spend on my mileage, I'm not spending anymore. So they were willing to re-quote me for a much lower amount of usage.
Interesting.
So you can go to your insurance companies and say, can I get a break on my rates because I'm not using my car? So how much can I save now on my insurance charges?
Yeah, I heard a
Um,
lot of people doing that.
yeah.
Good
And
tip.
then life insurance, if you have life insurance costs or a home and auto, the insurance companies are giving you a deferral. It varies, but it could be anywhere from up
Mhm.
1 month up to 6 months deferral as well on your payments. So check with all of the
That's good.
companies you deal with to see what you can defer or delay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very good advice. Thanks, Jackie.
No problem.
Tony, the question we've been getting that I'm hoping you can help us with is, again, going back to the job loss idea, is how job loss is affecting those and their closings in 2020. Are you finding a difference there?
Well, currently right now, lenders have released an article or at least an email to us mortgage brokers saying that anyone who is laid off, providing they're expected to return back to work, they will honor their closing dates or refinancing or whatever renewal or whatever mortgage needs that they have. So it all depends on the years of employment, what type of employment they're in, the industry sector, because there are some high risk sectors that lenders currently right now are declining, such as the travel industry. So currently right now they're declining those ones until they get any more info on that. And we've also had some questions in regards to the self-employment. How would that affect approvals for purchases or refinances or renewals? So it's basically case by case as well. When is their return date back to work? What kind of industry sector are they in? So it's all case by case. So if you're not in the high risk sector, you're pretty much returning back to work. And all we would need is either a letter or an email from the employer, and that would be suffice.
Okay, good news. Good news. At least we can hear a little bit of a happy ending there, because I know that it can be stressful if you hear that you're temporarily laid off, but you have a closing coming up. So thank you for that. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Jackie. We appreciate you. As always, all contact information will be in the links below. Please feel free to reach out with any more questions that you have, or if you wanted to further this conversation moving forward. Anyhow, to everybody, stay safe and take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.